Good evening. 2 days after record-setting snowfall, people are still digging out.
That includes city workers trying to clear all the snow from side streets and sidewalks. CTV's Natalie Johnson has been following the progress and joins us live tonight with the update. Natalie, how's it going?
Hey, Michelle. Well, citywide snow removal operations will begin tomorrow. That means that Torontonians can expect dump trucks in their neighborhoods to haul away all the snow that has been slowing down the city.
As the big dig continues, the trouble in Toronto is where to put all that snow.
The streets they're two ways, but now they're down to one way.
Streets and sidewalks narrowed by the walls of snow boxing in cars. This doorbell camera capturing the moment overnight when a plow struck a vehicle parked on the street near Yonge and Lawrence. Significant damage visible after the sun came up today. As drivers navigate narrow residential roads, in some cases on garbage day.
It's going to be a tough one for us today on the roads today. Yeah, because a lot of bankers, as you can see like this. Yeah, it's going to be a very, very big one for us today.
City crews shifting their focus now to snow removal.
This will be an exercise that will take a number of days. It's an exercise where we'll need help from the public.
The city has secured a sixth site for snow dumping, hauling away the snow piles that restrict visibility, reduce road width, or limit access for emergency services. In the coming days, tackling the side streets, homeowners being advised to dig out their cars now in case they need to move them to make way for snow removal.
We help each other. You know, if I see some older somebody, I go to help.
You can't be in 10 places at the same time. So, patience.
Patience still plentiful 2 days after the storm. The question is, can Toronto get rid of the snow before the goodwill melts away?
When those snow removal crews come to your neighborhood, you may get a knock at your door. They will also be posting temporary orange no parking signs and will remove that snow within 24 hours. Reporting live, I'm Natalie Johnson. Nathan, inside to you.
Thank you, Natalie. And looking at the forecast, no snowfall to contend with, but it's very cold out there. And that's the weather story, and that will be the weather story for the next few days. So bundle up if you have any outdoor plans. Jessica Smith has a look at the current conditions. Jess.
It gets cold, Nathan, and it stays cold. We're still under that polar vortex, that big plume of cold air really still encompassing a good portion of the prairies and all of Ontario. We're looking at some lake effect snow impacting us again, but not so much in the GTA, more so for our friends through Goderich, Owen Sound, Parry Sound, and out through Cottage Country. As we head in towards our evening, we've seen some of these alerts kind of move around, but still looking at significant snow through Goderich, Barrie, and Parry Sound, and stretching down towards our communities between London and Hamilton. So be careful if you're driving anywhere tonight, still watching for that lake effect snow machine. We've also still got really cold temperatures from London up towards just kind of that borderline with Hamilton. So we are seeing some of those start to dissipate, but I anticipate those returning in full force as we head into the next few days as temperatures continue to plummet. Right now sitting at -10 through Hamilton, feeling like -19, -11 in Peterborough, Niagara, feeling like -20, and those wicked wind chills really not going anywhere. Temperature-wise, it gets cold tonight. Bundle up if you have to spend some time outside. Coming up, a full look at your long range right now. It's back over to Nathan.
Thank you, Jess. And the winter weather causing treacherous conditions for drivers near Belleville today, with the OPP reporting as many as 50 vehicles involved in crashes on the 401. Slippery lanes and reduced visibility because of snow squalls made for tough driving in the area. Sections of the highway have been closed in both directions while crews try to clear away all the vehicles. Thankfully, no serious injuries were reported, and anyone stranded has been transported to a local arena.
Also tonight, a little girl mauled by a pair of dogs. 2 moms injured while trying to save her. Still ahead while they're sharing their story, concerned not enough is being done to prevent another attack. As we first told you last night, the long-awaited Eglinton Crosstown LRT is scheduled to begin operation in just under 2 weeks' time.
Today, those who plan to use the service remain optimistic that after years of delays, they'll be able to ride the rails come February 8th. CTV's Allison Hurst has been speaking with commuters today and joins us with reaction. There's some skepticism, Allison.
Nathan, there certainly is. The TTC CEO has yet to give us a commitment that the February 8th date from sources is going to happen. So transit riders are once again in a limbo. Many very hopeful that it's going to open next month, but some just not ready to believe the promises. over budget and years behind schedule. According to a source, the Eglinton Crosstown LRT has an opening date next month.
I am so excited. It'll be in Scarborough and it'll be so easy to travel everywhere.
The source has told CTV News it will open February 8th, a date the province has not disputed.
We'll hopefully get it open on February the 8th, but that's strictly up to the TTC.
I know it's in February and likely going to be on February 8th. I'll leave it for TTC to make that announcement.
But the TTC CEO would not confirm the date.
February the 8th date appears to be aligned to our board period when we're doing a lot of bus changes to align with the line.
Work began on the 19-kilometer line in 2010. It was originally promised to open in 2020, but has been plagued with delays and costs ballooned to $1 billion over budget. Transit users say they've waited long enough.
You know, we've been waiting for a long time, and that's how many years now? 14, 15 years?
At this point, I don't believe anything about that system. $1 billion over, and they kept promising it's going to open September, October. Now they're promising February.
I think it's been long waited, so hopefully it does open on the 8th and people are going to be able to enjoy it.
The sooner the better for business owners like Justin Brown, who have weathered the near 16 years of work.
Now we're going to see the place booming again.
Officials with Metrolinx and the provincial government say the Eglinton line has been thoroughly tested, has handled well in the winter, and it's a different system than the Finch West LRT that has been hampered with problems since opening last month.
It is much different from from the Finch West LRT, as about 10 kilometers of this project is underground as well.
During that snowstorm on the 15th and 16th of December, it had the highest average vehicle kilometer ratio of any transit project in the city.
Officials say they've learned from Line 6 and will be applying those lessons to the opening of Line 5. The TTC CEO tells us that whenever it does actually open, there is going to be a phased-in approach, adding that there are some software updates that will be needed done down the line. Reporting live, I'm Allison Hurst. Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Allison. Still ahead, standing by his speech, Carney contradicts reports he walked back his comments during a phone call with President Trump, and why the opposition is demanding a transcript of the call.
But first, an afternoon fire has destroyed a home in Vaughan. Crews responded to this scene on Templewood Crescent around 2 p.m. That's near Weston and Teston Road. Firefighters battled heavy smoke as they worked to extinguish the flames. Police say no injuries are reported. And Peel police are investigating a suspicious fire at a house for sale in Mississauga overnight. Emergency crews were called to the home on Waters Edge Road near Lakeshore and South Down Road. Mississauga Fire says flames in the garage spread to the attic of the home. Everyone inside was able to get out and no one was hurt. The fire has now been extinguished, and police say it's being investigated as arson.
Police are on the hunt for a suspect in an assault at Wellesley Station that left one person with life-altering injuries. Investigators released this image of the person they're looking for. Police say he got in a fight on a subway train last night around 7 p.m. When the train arrived at Wellesley Station, the altercation continued on the platform where the victim was kicked several times. The suspect then fled.
Just keep an eye out. He obviously takes TTC, and he did get off at Wellesley Station, so just keep an eye out. We did release a photo so everyone knows what he does look like, so if they do see someone who matches his description, just call police.
Police say the victim is a man in his 50s.
And police are trying to track down a man who escaped from the Toronto South Detention Centre. Investigators are looking for 34-year-old Stephen Alexander Guzman Marineland. They say he impersonated another inmate who was to be released from jail. He was fitted with an ankle monitor, but was able to remove it. Marineland is wanted on several charges, including obstructing a police officer, mischief, and theft. He's described as 5'9" and 200 pounds with a beard. Police say he's considered dangerous, and anyone who sees him should keep their distance and call 911.
2 Oshawa moms are speaking out after a dog attack left both of them bitten and a 4-year-old girl badly mauled.
As CTV's John Woodward reports, there are questions about how quickly authorities acted and whether the dogs are still a danger.
This is the face of 4-year-old Riley after she was mauled by 2 dogs.
Riley looks down and there's blood pouring from her face and all over her arms, and she just starts screaming.
Riley and her mom, Kayla Silver, were visiting their friends, 2-year-old Atticus and his mom, Tijana Desiree, at their Oshawa townhouse on January 13th. That's when 2 dogs came bounding out of the townhouse next door, biting Riley in the face. Her mom dove to protect her.
So I'm just trying to shield her as much as possible, and I have this one dog on my arm. And then I feel another animal come from behind me and jump on my back. And all I can think is, they're gonna rip us apart. Like, we're both gonna die.
Desiree opened the door and pulled the dogs off. They bit her too, on the arm and her chest.
For about like 20 or 30 seconds, I was just screaming for help. Kayla's screaming for help. I'm kicking the dogs. I'm trying to grab them and push them off of her. All the while they're biting me and grabbing onto me.
The dog's owners came out and stopped the attack. The moms called 911 and police and paramedics took them to the hospital. Oshawa issued an animal control order 7 days later that says the owners, listed as Melissa Bolton and Jeff Kirkham, need to keep the dogs muzzled in public. A sign outside the home doesn't mention a muzzling order, just says not to knock because, quote, crazy dogs live here, do not knock, they will bark, I will yell, and an expletive. So we rang the doorbell.
There's no attack, I know what you're talking about.
The dog attack, the 2 dogs attacked a 4-year-old girl and another woman?
No, that didn't happen. I don't know what you're talking about.
It didn't happen.
Have a nice day.
You heard that. The person who lives in that unit denies the attack even happened, and you can hear the dogs barking inside. We didn't hear back from Oshawa's bylaw officers today. Councillor Jim Lee says he's looking into the city's response.
Put our bylaw department on notice that I want to know when the investigation is over and what's the outcome.
Video shows the dogs appear to have been muzzled in public. Small comfort to the moms who point out the incident happened when the dogs burst out of a private home.
Animal control should be coming and removing those animals immediately.
For now, Desiree leaves her home with a baseball bat to protect her kid in case those dogs get out again. She doesn't want any other children to be attacked. John Woodward, CTV News, Oshawa.
We're getting new details about an effort to send more than 24 whales from what used to be Marineland to the United States. Canada's fisheries minister says the former theme park has a solid plan to transfer the remaining 34 belugas and 4 dolphins, allowing them to live in healthier conditions. Yesterday, Ottawa conditionally approved Marineland's application to export the mammals, but those federal permits require a health assessment and a plan to get them to their U.S. destinations. Marineland is in talks with aquariums in Chicago, Atlanta, Connecticut, and SeaWorld, which has several locations. The Canadian press says Marineland gave Ottawa a deadline of January 30th to approve the permits, or it would go ahead with its backup plan to euthanize the mammals.
Mark Carney is holding firm to his highly regarded speech to the World Economic Forum, despite claims by a Donald Trump insider.
He says the prime minister aggressively walked back some of his remarks in a phone call with the U.S. president. CTV senior political correspondent Mike LeCouture has the details.
I meant what I said in Davos.
Prime Minister Mark Carney stood by his speech during a phone call with U.S. President Donald Trump. The 30-minute conversation covered Arctic security, Venezuela, and Canada's agreement with China.
I explained to him what we're doing, 12 new deals on 4 continents in 6 months. He was impressed. And what we intend to do going forward, as well as the opportunity to of course, move forward on CUSMA.
Let's talk about the Prime Minister, or if you prefer, Governor of Canada.
12 hours earlier, the U.S. Treasury Secretary says he was on that call and characterized the conversation differently.
He spoke to Prime Minister Carney, who was very aggressively walking back some of the unfortunate remarks he made at Davos.
Asked specifically about that.
So you didn't walk back your comments?
No. But there was no public readout of the conversation between Trump and Carney, something the Conservatives are criticizing. Michael Chong wrote on social media, "It is unacceptable that Canadians and journalists learned of this recent call from American media." Besson's comments come days after Trump threatened to impose 100% tariffs on Canada if the government signs a free trade agreement with China, something Carney says he's not pursuing. Political analysts believe the current strategy is to keep calm.
Trump is going to make noise. He's going to flash. He's going to swear. He's going to stamp his feet. Just
take a breath, take a moment. Chances are the storm will pass, and it has.
The Prime Minister says he reiterated in his conversation with the President that Canada is responding to the change in U.S. trade policy by building new partnerships abroad, including with China. And Carney says Trump understood that. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
The Prime Minister squared off against Pierre Poilievre in the House of Commons today, and the Conservative leader insisted Canada works better with less government and without a bloated bureaucracy.
We've got too many laws that stand in the way of safe and responsible resource development, so he creates even more laws. He's confusing the problem with the solution. Mr. Speaker, we don't need more signing ceremonies, more summits, more laws, more agencies, more corporate buzzwords, or more abracadabra. What we need from this Prime Minister is one thing: get out of the way.
Poilievre also noted the cost of groceries for a family of 4 is $17,600 annually, $1,000 more than it was a year ago, and he insists a Liberal rebate worth less than one trip to the grocery store won't fix food inflation or grocery taxes. Today is International Holocaust Remembrance Day. Survivors visited the Auschwitz concentration camp memorial site to commemorate the 81st anniversary of the liberation of the Nazi camp. The former prisoners laid flowers and wreaths at the execution wall, also known as the Wall of Death. About 6 million Jews and millions of others were killed by the Nazis during the Holocaust. CTV's Rahim Ladani sat down today with a survivor of Auschwitz who shares his story in the hopes that history will never be repeated.
At 98 years old, Howard Chandler vividly remembers what he endured during the Second World War.
And we traveled for 4 weeks on 2 days of rations. We left about 4,500 prisoners. At the end of the journey, there was only 500 of us left alive. Cannibalism was rampant.
After 2 years of forced labor, he was deported to Auschwitz in 1944 and lost contact with most of his family. The following summer, only he and one brother made it to Czechoslovakia, where they were liberated. Then in 1947, he arrived in Canada.
I had to qualify. I had to be under the age of 18, and I had to be an orphan.
On Holocaust Remembrance Day, survivors are honored and victims commemorated. Still, 81 years later, anti-Semitism remains a threat to the Jewish people.
All Canadians should not be standing for hatred and extremism wherever it happens, and so we have to stand shoulder to shoulder to call that out, whether it's happening against our community or other communities.
Here in Toronto, police data shows that in 2024, anti-Jewish occurrences made up 40% of all hate crimes, making spaces like this that much more essential.
This was owned by a family who had a store on DuPont Street.
Inside Toronto's Holocaust Museum are countless artifacts, like this cash register, showcasing how survivors lived after the war. And sharing their stories are a key part in connecting younger generations.
We make sure that the stories are taught sensitively and through first-person testimony, and this is so important that we are actually full every day with students, as you can hear in the background.
As we chatted with Chandler, he could also hear the students and says he doesn't just want them to learn about the Holocaust, but also respond when they witness hate.
Challenge these people. You got to challenge them. If you see something wrong being done, if you don't do anything about it, you're just as guilty.
Standing up to fulfill the promise, never again. Rahim Ladani, CTV News, Toronto.
Jury selection today in a landmark U.S. trial involving several social media giants. The platforms are accused of deliberately addicting and harming teens.
It's happening as France also introduces a law restricting social media access to young people. CTV's Abigail Beeman looks into whether Canada plans to go the same route.
France's National Assembly votes in favor of a social media ban for children under 15. The president wants the ban in place by the next school year, posting, "Because our children's brains are not for sale." While in LA, a landmark series of trials begins with parents, teens, and school districts taking social media giants to court over addiction claims. Snapchat and TikTok reportedly settled in advance, leaving Meta, Facebook and Instagram's parent company, and YouTube.
We haven't landed on anything yet.
In Canada, the government is planning new online harm legislation after the last bill died with the Trudeau government, but no update on when or whether it will include a similar ban to France and Australia.
The objective of a new online harms act would be to protect kids, first and foremost. And also there's a legitimate concern of the state protecting freedom of expression, and that is also key. So there's a balancing act.
It can be used as a very vicious tool to harass, bully, stalk, defame, hurt people.
Lawyer Ma'anit Zemel's office gets at least a call a day looking for help. She's calling for nuanced regulations that are enforceable and tailored to specific harms like cyberbullying or overuse, saying a full-out ban is not the answer.
The kids just get around it by using, whether it's VPNs or just saying they're older. And, from a legal perspective here, it might be challenged for all kinds of reasons.
CTV News reached out to Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, and Meta. By deadline, only Meta responded, saying they'll comply with any regulations, but governments considering bans should be careful not to push teens towards unregulated, less safe sites. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
NASA confirmed today the rocket that will take Canadian Jeremy Hansen and 3 other astronauts to the moon is on track or even ahead of schedule for a crucial test. The space agency has been working towards a rehearsal in which the rocket is filled with fuel and Artemis II mission controllers practice for launch day. That test is due to happen as early as Saturday, leading up to a simulated liftoff at 9 p.m. If all goes well, NASA may move forward with key meetings and narrow down a target launch date. It is currently planned for no earlier than February 6th. Hansen and his colleagues entered quarantine on Friday. They will circle the moon and return home in preparation for another crew touching down on the lunar surface next year.
Coming up, it's been around for 4 years now. We check in on Toronto's vacant home tax. Is it doing its job, or is it time for renovations?
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, do you collect air miles? If you do, this popular loyalty program will soon undergo a major transformation, complete with a new name. Air miles will be known as Blue Rewards. What does that mean for you? And what changes can you expect? I'll have that story. That's just it.
No surprise here, the below seasonal trend not going anywhere. We're nowhere near our seasonal high, which should be -2 yesterday, just -8.8, and that cold air not going anywhere as we head in towards the end of the week and the end of January. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast, and we'll talk about a slight return to seasonal as we head into the month of February. All those details after the break.
Air Miles is one of Canada's most popular and longest-running loyalty programs with about 10 million members.
Now it's getting a new name, Blue Rewards. What does this mean for you if you've already got Air Miles? Here's Pat Foran and Consumer Alert. Pat.
Thanks, Nathan and Michelle. The Bank of Montreal acquired Air Miles 3 years ago for $160 million U.S. when Loyalty One filed for bankruptcy. The program has undergone many changes, and by taking the word miles out of its name, BMO wants you to know it's more than just a travel program. Air Miles has been in operation for more than 30 years, and this summer the familiar Air Miles logo with an airplane will be replaced with a new look and new name, Blue Rewards. BMO owns the loyalty program and says no action for clients is needed at this time, and any miles you have will hold their value.
If you got $100 worth of something you're saving up for a gift card, a vacuum, or travel, you'll have $100 worth when we launch Blue Rewards in the summer.
BMO says it's adding new partners and new ways to earn, including the ability to earn points on groceries and food deliveries. Air Miles is a well-known brand, but loyalty card experts say it was time for an update.
Air Miles really needed a name change more than anything else. It's called Air Miles. It's got an airplane for its logo. But the brand has evolved over the years, especially since BMO purchased them. They're more of a general rewards program.
BMO is also hoping more Canadians will make the switch to its bank to take advantage of additional perks connected with the program. Rewards Canada, which studies loyalty programs, says more Canadians are no longer saving years for dream vacations with points, but instead are cashing them in more often for low-value rewards.
These shopping rewards or these everyday rewards, kind of like Blue Rewards, where you can get value
just for a little bit amount of points. You don't have to spend years collecting points. You can maybe, after a month, you might have enough points to get $20 off something.
Rewards Canada recently announced its top 5 rewards cards. Number 1, American Express, followed by Aeroplan, Scene, Avion Rewards, and Air Miles, now Blue Rewards. Loyalty programs want your business. Barry Choi says make sure you pick one that best suits your spending.
Is the card that you have in your wallet right now making sense for you as far as a loyalty perspective is concerned? If not, it might be worth switching where you can earn more points that you can actually use for whether it be merchandise, groceries, or travel.
And BMO will encourage members to collect points using its app, but physical cards will be available if you want one. The bank says more partner announcements will be made in the spring, and the full transition from Air Miles to Blue Rewards will happen this summer. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
Well, still lots of cleanup happening from Sunday's record-breaking storm. I was surprised out there today on the roads at how slippery it was still. I thought, why is it slippery? But I'm assuming this cold has something to do with it.
For sure. There are still some areas that are covered in snow, so you're not really even driving on pavement. And then you still got the deep freeze. So
you do, and it makes it almost harder to clean up because everything is really starting to become that rock-solid snow that stays until March sometimes. But it is cold, and it's going to stay cold. So as you head out over the next few days, make sure you're covering up any exposed skin because frostbite can happen very, very quickly. We do get a little more sunshine over the next few days, but that's not going to warm things up, not even a little bit. So as you head out this evening and over the next few days, keep that into consideration. If you're going to go tobogganing, you're going to go skiing, you're going to go skating, you're going to take the dog for a walk. You have to be really careful for yourself and for others. A cool, cold, kind of clear night ahead of us, but keep in mind we're still not out of the woods when it comes to lake effect snow impacting us here in the GTA. And when it does pop up, it can really reduce visibility. Right now, it is just cold and very dark. We're sitting at -10 here in the city, feeling like -19. Windsor feels like -21. And anywhere kind of north of Timmins, you're in that mid-20 to almost -30 range. It is frigid for everybody. Temperature-wise, we should be around -10 for the low overnight. We are nowhere near that. We're at -15, and we're going to feel like -23, and almost everybody feeling into that -20 range. Bancroft feeling close to -30. Into the day tomorrow, we'll see a few peaks of sunshine, but no warmth. We're looking at a southwesterly wind at times, but because we have this big plume of cold air, that polar vortex sitting over the entire province, it doesn't matter which way the wind is blowing, it is going to be very cold. We're seeing these really deep purples kind of sink their way down. And before the week is all said and done, it is going to be absolutely frigid. So be careful spending extra time outside, walking your pets, taking anybody outdoors, and check on your more vulnerable loved ones. We are still seeing a few snow squall watches and warnings in place along those eastern shorelines of Lake Huron and Georgian Bay. Goderich, Barrie, Perry Sound, you're included in that with an additional potentially 50 centimeters on the way as we head into the day tomorrow. So looking at extreme cold warnings as well out towards London, but we're seeing those kind of shift, and I anticipate those popping up across southern Ontario as we head throughout the rest of the week as temperatures continue to drop. We're looking at more in the way of lake effect snow moving through the next few days. Not so much impacting the GTA, but depending on where you're traveling, it is going to impede your drive. Timing everything out for the rest of our evening. Again, Owen Sound, that lake effect band going to push almost all the way into just the edge of the GTA. We head through the overnight, maybe a burst of flurries in towards 10 p.m., but the bulk of it is going to be dry for us in the downtown core and throughout the greater Toronto area. Lots of sunshine for your drive tomorrow, but that can also make it challenging to see as you're driving, so pack those sunglasses. We see cloud cover push back in as we head into the afternoon and heavier snow again for Owen Sound, Perry Sound, and for our friends through Cottage Country. In towards the evening, no real change for the GTA, but again, those same areas are going to be impacted by snow, and they're looking at, again, that 50 centimeter range by the time it's all said and done. They don't really see a ton of relief over the next few days. We get ready to step in towards the end of January, the beginning of February, as we head in towards the weekend with downright frigid temperatures. -10 for your daytime high tomorrow. Seasonally, we should be at -2. It will feel close to -18. In towards the evening on Thursday, we drop down to -21, and that's before you factor in any kind of a wind chill. We don't start to climb out of this real deep freeze until we head in towards at least the end of the weekend, the beginning of February on Sunday. And then we look ahead to Groundhog Day really being the only one kind of close to seasonal with that daytime high and that overnight low. But it is short-lived as we drop back down below seasonal for both as we head in towards Tuesday. So It is going to be cold, but at least we get a little bit of sunshine, but make sure you are layering up accordingly. Hopefully this helps you plan. Michelle, I'll send things back to you.
It sure does. Thank you, Jess.
Thanks.
Also tonight, he's still got swag. The Juno nominations have been announced, and Justin Bieber leads the pack. We'll tell you who else is up for Canada's Top Music Awards after the break.
A new study suggests the shingles vaccine may help prevent or delay the onset of dementia more effectively than any existing treatment. The study was published in Lancet Neurology and led by researchers at McMaster and Stanford. It analyzed health data over a 5.5-year period for more than 250,000 Ontario seniors. Researchers say the cohort eligible for the free vaccine based on their age had a lower probability of receiving a new dementia diagnosis by 2% compared to the group that wasn't eligible. That works out to about 2 fewer dementia cases per 100 people.
CUPE is demanding Queen's Park increase hospital funding as the union warns of longer wait times and declining quality of care.
What is the government thinking? And how could it make promises like to reduce surgical wait times or to end hallway medicine, or say that it values the work of healthcare workers, or that it understands the key role that hospitals play in their communities, when its plan is to systematically force these hospitals to cut their budgets. This year, their 2.36% funding increase pales in the shadow of their 6% increase in operating costs.
CUPE cautions there will be more than 10,000 job losses and a reduction of 2,400 hospital beds.
With chronic pain affecting 1 in every 5 Canadians, a Toronto physiotherapist is hoping there will be a wide audience for his new musical.
That's right, a musical about pain. Health reporter Pauline Chan visited a rehearsal today.
Longtime physiotherapist and show creator Bahram Jam says pain is simply a message in the body that something needs to change.
Everybody wants a quick fix, a magic fix, a magic pill, a magic injection, a magic stretch, a magic anything. But the truth is, magic thing doesn't exist when it comes to chronic pain.
Chronic pain is pain that lasts more than 3 months and doesn't respond to the usual treatments.
What this musical does is I've personified pain, when pain is actually a comical, humorous character. And at first people think it's a villain, but by the end of the show, hopefully people will change their relationship with pain.
Charlotte Moore plays the title character, Pain.
Our tagline is giving chronic pain a voice. And so it's about patients being able to discover that a way to deal with their pain is to not confront it, but to embrace it and to learn to live with it. And it's a different take on what they might be taught by the industry of, here, take this pill and you'll feel better.
Blythe Wilson plays Dr. J and says as a dancer, she's had many years to think of her relationship with pain.
Dr. J is dealing with her own pain, which is pain from grief. And so she's trying to throw herself into her work.
Jam wants physicians and patients to see the show and even has free tickets for anyone with financial difficulties.
My main intention is to take away the stigma that's related to chronic pain, just so we have done it for mental health.
Pain the Musical runs January 28th to February 1st here at the Factory Theatre. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
The 55th annual Juno Awards will be held in Hamilton next month.
And we now know who is in the running for Canada's Top Music Prize. CTV's Andrea Case breaks down the nominees.
Do backflips.
He may have first caught our attention when Kamloops, BC's Cameron Whitcomb auditioned on American Idol, but now he is a Juno nominee. Yep, he is no quitter. The first-time nominee heard his name 5 times this morning, including for Breakthrough Artist of the Year and TD Fan Choice Award, as well as Country Album of the Year. But leading the pack, Justin Bieber is an 8-time Juno winner already, but never has he had 6 Juno nominations in 1 year. Hold on, hold on. His single Daisies is up for Single of the Year off the album Swag 2. He will also vie for Artist of the Year. Could Tate McRae be any hotter? The former Calgary-born dancer tied the Biebs with 6 nominations. Best Single, Sports Car kicked off her Album of the Year contender, So Close to What? Daniel Caesar already has been announced as a performer, and he may pick up a Juno this year. He is nominated for 4 trophies, as is The Weeknd. The Junos will be hosted by comedian, actor, and singer Mae Martin from the TD Coliseum in Hamilton on March 29th. Andrea Case, CTV News.
Well, this could be music to the ears of some Greenlanders. A Canadian music legend is showing his support for the island amid ongoing talk of it being acquired by the U.S.
I want to live, I want to give. I've been a miner for a heart of gold.
Neil Young is providing free access to his entire music catalog to residents of Denmark's semi-autonomous territory. The veteran rocker says he hopes his songs and music films will ease some of the unwarranted stress and threats they are experiencing from what he calls America's unpopular and hopefully temporary government.
After the break, it was brought in to increase housing supply and help with affordability. But critics suggest it may be time to rethink the vacant home tax. Still ahead, we check in on its impact.
It is earnings season. Today, a Canadian grocer shared their financial results. BNN Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez has that.
Metro reported first quarter results that missed the mark. The grocery store chain says net earnings dropped almost 13% year over year because of what it calls a challenging operating environment. A temporary shutdown of a frozen food distribution center weighed on Metro last year. Despite the miss, the grocer is hiking its quarterly dividend. La Caisse announced it's selling a block of Cogeco Communications shares. The investment group says it is rebalancing its portfolio. The sale will bring La Caisse about $230 million. But the news sent shares of Cogeco Communications plummeting. They ended the day down about 6%. General Motors reporting a quarterly loss of $3.3 billion US dollars. It's a big hit, connected to a recent $7 billion US dollar write-down for its electric vehicle division. GM is reducing EV production. The company is calling its 2025 performance resilient and says 2026 will be a better year. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 73.64. West Texas Intermediate is up $1.76 to 62.39. Western Canadian Select is down to 44.87. And the TSX gained just 3 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
The City of Toronto's vacant home tax is meant to make housing more available as well as affordable.
But there are questions over whether the tax is actually working the way it was intended to. CTV's Beth McDonnell reports.
You've got really good natural light coming into this space.
Not much is selling these days, including this 1-bedroom plus den condo in Scarborough, available for $375,000.
Our real estate group alone is sitting on somewhere between 30 and 40 properties that are currently up for sale that could be turned over into rentals if there was an appetite to do so.
In 2022, the City of Toronto brought in the vacant home tax as a way to make more housing available and affordable. Broker Carol Fodrick says then clients who moved to a second home during the pandemic did decide to sell or rent their primary residence. But now the number of homes intentionally left vacant is very low.
The reality is that in the last handful of years, the market conditions have changed so dramatically that in fact the tax may have run its course in terms of its efficacy.
City numbers show in 2022, nearly 7,000 homes were deemed vacant. In 2024, nearly 6,000, a drop of 1,000. Both years, less than 1% of all properties were vacant. However, the city tells CTV it cannot confirm whether residential properties that were identified as vacant have been rented. Nor is it clear the revenue being collected from the vacant home tax, levied at 3% of the property's value. CTV asked for the total amount to date. Despite tens of millions being projected, we were told staff continue to process complaints, appeals, and exemptions, and it will be shared later this year, saying the vacant home tax is a policy tool designed to increase the supply of housing in Toronto and is not intended to be revenue generating.
The city says early indications suggest the vacant home tax continues to encourage property owners to occupy, sell, or rent their homes rather than leave them vacant.
The Toronto Regional Real Estate Board says when it comes to condos right now, more supply has come online, and buyers and renters have a lot of choice. But it doesn't necessarily mean units are being filled.
Because there's so much competition between different units. And I think, the city will have to also take into account for that and sort of think about, well, how does our policy, our vacant tax policy sort of shift over time?
Meanwhile, as properties continue to sit and owners manage debt, there are concerns the vacant home tax could eventually kick in.
That's obviously adding another layer of urgency to what is already a very stressful situation for people trying to move properties in a very challenging market.
The city says it does not apply to an owner's principal residence, regardless how long it takes to sell. A secondary property is exempt for a year, regardless if it was vacant beforehand. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
The Winter Olympics begin next week, and today, 3 members of Canada's women's hockey team got some encouraging words from a very high-profile fan.
You have all of Canada behind you as you go to Milan. The rink is going to be ready just in time, and they won't know what hit them.
The Prime Minister wished Jocelyn Larocque, Emily Clark, and Brianne Jenner luck at the Milano Cortina Games, and they brought along a jersey the PM can wear when he's cheering on the team. Canada's first game is February 5th, a preliminary round matchup against Finland.
The Buffalo Bills have a new head coach, and they didn't have to go very far to find him. The team has promoted offensive coordinator Joe Brady, who has agreed to a 5-year deal. He previously served as quarterbacks coach before taking over the offense. The Bills have been a perennial winner recently, accomplishing everything except reaching the Super Bowl. Sean McDermott was dismissed about a week ago after 9 years with the team. Just ahead, 50 years later, his remarkable record still stands. And tonight, Darryl Sittler will be honored for his magical 10-point game. We reminisce with the Leaf legend after the break.
Tonight, Mark Carney not backing down on his speech at Davos.
I meant what I said in Davos.
The dueling narratives about a phone call between the Prime Minister and U.S. President. Later on CTV National News and watch on Crave.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
The Leafs look to snap their 4-game losing streak hosting the Buffalo Sabres tonight.
Before the game, Leaf legend Darryl Sittler will be honored to mark the upcoming 50th anniversary of his 10-point game. CTV's Sean Leathong sat down with him today to reflect on the record-setting performance.
It's a night that solidified a Leafs legend. February 7th, 1976, Darryl Sittler setting an NHL record with 10 points in one game, a record that soon will have stood for 50 years.
I'll be honest with you, after that game, I never really realized the magnitude of it.
We sat down with Sittler to talk about that night 50 years ago as the team honors the accomplishment. The 75-year-old says back then he didn't know what was happening until the team's statistician approached after the second period when they were winning 8-4.
He comes over to me and says, Darryl, you've got 7 points. If you get one more, you tie Rocket Richard's record.
The record held by Rocket Richard had been 8 points. Sittler would score 3 goals in the third period, making his total 6 goals and 4 assists. And he says there was something magical about the game, including the time of the goal that broke the record.
And I broke Rocket Richard's record. He wore number 9, and I'm number 27, and it happened at 9:27. So what are the chances of those numbers coming together?
Sittler's place firmly cemented in Legends Row. For tonight's game, the team is bringing back most of his teammates, including longtime friend Tiger Williams, who's tasked with holding onto and protecting the jersey Sittler wore that night.
He's just a class guy, 24/7, 365 days a year. In my case, I've been with him for 50 years.
This would be the stick that he would use in the first 2 periods of that game.
While it has been hard to authenticate, collector Mark Farah says this stick comes with small notes showing the date and events of the game, also matched through tape and photos of that night. having been pulled out of use because Sittler scored his 150th goal that night as well.
I get chills to think about what it would have been like in that moment and that time, and being a part of that crowd and the excitement.
12 other players have reached 8 points in a game, Gretzky and Lemieux included, but this record now seems unbreakable. When it comes to his own memories, Sittler does have one goal that sticks out.
I was coming down the boards and I shot and I went in behind the net and I hit my back up against the boards, and you could see the smile and emotion on my face.
A night and a record standing the test of time. Sean Leathong, CTV News.
That could last another 50 years, couldn't it? What a record.
So. Oh, he's such a true gem in Leafs land. Glad that still stands. That record, we're not breaking any records tonight.
No.
But it is still extremely cold.
And we could, as we head throughout the week, it is going to be cold. There's really no other way to say it. Cold, frigid, chilly. We're lacking heat, basically, as we head over the next couple of days, as we continue with this polar vortex. Still seeing lake effect snow impacting our communities through Cottage Country, Owen Sound, Perry Sound. You're not getting any relief anytime soon. We're at -10 right now, feeling like -19, and we are staying in these below seasonal temps for the foreseeable future. The good news, and I guess a little bit of good news, is some sunshine. It will be cold but very bright over the next few days. We're dropping down to a low of -21 on Thursday, but heading into February, we get to a little bit more of a seasonal point, so not too bad.
I love how 3 is looking warm to us now.
The balmy -3.
Ooh, -3. Okay, that's it for us. But you can join Omar Sachedina tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zarada Alman with our next local newscast at 11:30.
In the meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and online at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Jessica Smith and the whole team here at CTV News, thanks for watching and have a great night.